Two of my favorite questions I get every year, many times, are number one, hey, what's the right planting population? And number two, what's the best hybrid to plant on my farm? Darren, what do you think? How do you answer those questions?
Well, there's no right answer, Brian, because we don't know what the year is going to be. I can answer it in hindsight for 2020 and look back at our farm and say, well, hey, you know what? These hybrids perform better, and also this planting population worked best for each one on this season. But you just don't know what you're going to get for a season. Are you going to get lots of sunlight and lots of heat? Are there going to be lots of cloudy days like this year and cooler weather? That's going to play a big factor into what works. And we see this by just looking at the yield trials. Hybrids that win one year, oftentimes the next year, they may be middle of the pack. Who knows? It really varies. That's why it's tough to pick one hybrid to plant for your whole farm, and very important that you pick multiple hybrids to plant. And we've got a lot of other things to add to the diversity to help your operation.
So a lot of times what we talk about, and we try to do this on our farm, we're going to plant a wide range of maturity, and we're going to plant those at varying populations. So let's start with this maturity thing. What I usually plan for is, hey, it's probably going to take 3 to maybe even 4 weeks to get our corn planted. Now, if we were to just go straight through, would it take that? No way. Easily we could have our corn planted in a week. But it just doesn't work that way, because either the field's not ready, the field's too wet, or it's raining, or there's a breakdown, or something else came up that was too important and we said, okay, we got to stop the planter for a day. There are all these things that happen. Well, if I know that on average my planting date's going to vary by 3 to possibly 4 weeks, why would I not have my maturity varying as well? So we're going to start with maybe 105 to 110 day. We're going to finish with a 95 to 100 day, something like that. So we're varying our maturity 10 to 15 days. That's a big deal. Also, you might say, well, hey, what do you do for your planter when you can vary the population? Do you change it as you go through the field? We absolutely do. In our very light ground that's non-irrigated, we're always going to plant lower populations. And in our heavy ground, where we have lots of moisture there all the time, we're going to plant higher populations. But that said, we're going to vary both of those things quite a bit, just from field to field, variety to variety, year to year. We want to change up our populations a little bit, because to Darren's point, we just don't know what the year is going to bring, and we want to spread our risk.
These are great discussions to be having with your seed supplier and also with your agronomist. So get your team together for your farm. Talk about each field, talk about each hybrid, what you're going to do for populations, how you're going to vary things throughout the farm to spread your risk. Because again, you just don't know what you're going to get for a year next year. So make sure that your bases are covered on all fronts.
So the reason why we're talking about this today is chances are you have bought your seed now and you have made a plan for, okay, I'm going to plant at whatever 32,000 population, and you might have said that for the entire farm, and you might have, let's say, 50% of your farm's acres in one variety. We typically are not going to recommend that to you. So on our farm, I really don't want more than maybe 15 or 20% into any one hybrid. I'm that concerned about it. I just remember, even as a very young agronomist, this just sticks with me ever since this happened. The number one variety in our area, it was winning every single trial, it seemed like. Well, the next year, a lot of guys planted almost the entire farm to that variety. And guess what happened to it? It was a disaster. It had silk balling. I've never seen that before or after, but that variety, for some reason that year, the silks didn't come out. So it didn't properly pollinate, and the yields were down 50 to 80 bushels. So the farmers that planted predominantly that variety, it really hurt them economically. It hurt them so bad that in some cases they weren't farming anymore. And I just looked at that as, I want to make sure that I'm farming the next year. So I want to spread my risk, because I just don't know what's going to happen with that variety. And I think this problem is even worse today, because let's face it, we don't have 5, 8 years that a variety is going to be around. It's usually here for a year or two. That's it. We don't have all this history behind it in wet years, dry years, cold years, hot years. So spread the risk.
Well, spreading your risk is very important on your farm, but one thing that you have to be 100% the same on is wiping weeds out of your fields, like our Weed of the Week. We'll show you what'll stop it coming up next.